get bad for him. Of course, he prayed for the best, with, hope for the best. And he even had a few more mishaps in between with the baby mom and all that type of shit, but he got past all that.
Like trips to prison, trips to jail, getting arrested does not look good for you. And the fact that you've had similar charges in the past and, other videos and other arrests and mugshots, it just don't look good. It looks like almost like a repeat offender.
This domestic violence, his hands are registered. His hands are considered deadly weapons.
Right.
So he is going to be considered like assault with a deadly weapon as well, other than domestic violence.
Is this truly the end of the road for Gervonta "Tank" Davis? With legal troubles once again surfacing and stacking up, fans are beginning to wonder if his time at the top is winding down for good. Davis has previously spoken openly about his need for therapy and admitted an awareness of his own behavioral patterns, suggesting a willingness to change. But now, with major fights like a potential showdown against Devin Haney still unfulfilled, he's staring at the possibility of stepping away from boxing prematurely. These recurring brushes with the law aren't just damaging his public image, they're threatening to erase the legacy he's built and could ultimately bring his entire career to a crashing halt.
So Tank is on probation for that. So this will be a violation of his probation. But he's a celebrity. Nothing's going to happen. It's going to get a slap on the wrist. He has money and stuff like that. Now, the question I have is this: what's going to happen with the Lamont Roach, rematch? Will that fight still go on? Do you get what I'm saying? Now, I don't expect Tank Davis fans to, they're going to brush it off like it ain't nothing, because that's what they do. They literally, a lot of them worship this guy. So, and I get it, I understand. However, will that fight still go on? That's probably why we haven't heard anything. I was listening to Blue Blood Sports TV, but then when I was listening to his video, guess what? I'm finna show y'all something. Now, some of y'all may say, oh, this is nothing. There's a podcaster that I watch all the time by the name of Ticket TV. I watch a lot of the big podcasters, right? Podcasts, right? I want y'all to see something. Y'all see this right here. Let me show y'all this. As you can see right here, Ticket TV is talking about this. And the title is this: Breaking News, boxing superstar Gervonta "Tank" Davis arrested for beating up women, beating up women.
In professional sports, athletes, especially those in the spotlight, are expected to uphold a certain code of conduct both inside and outside the ring. For Gervonta Davis, recent developments have once again highlighted the personal challenges that have followed him throughout his career, with renewed focus on incidents involving the mother of his child. As a figure who commands significant public attention, every move he makes is scrutinized, and even non-violent confrontations can quickly spiral into serious consequences. When an athlete's physical presence or social influence appears misused outside of competition, the public outcry can be intense. This particular case, due to its repetitive nature and the emotional weight involved, has reignited public debate and concern on a widespread level.
Bodily harm to her. Davis was arrested about an hour after the alleged incident and booked on a domestic violence battery charge. Jail records show he's still in police custody. Davis is scheduled to fight Hector Luis Garcia in a much-anticipated boxing match on January 7th in Washington, D.C.
Well, that's not happening. I mean, it's not going to happen, bro. He's not going to fight.
That fight probably canceled.
The fight's going to cancel in his sponsorship. If he's fought, I mean, you can't find him guilty right now, but I'm assuming he's going to get a great lawyer. He has money.
Do we know who the woman is? Because I saw some headlines that said baby mama. And I know what we just read didn't it wasn't specific.
That's what I thought it said too. Yeah.
Like yesterday, right?
Yeah.
When the reports came out.
And that's not even just a domestic violence. His hands are registered. His hands are considered deadly weapons.
Right.
So he is going to be considered like assault with a deadly weapon as well, other than domestic violence.
That's fact.
And that never goes good for a boxer, ever.
For it to be domestic violence, though, one thing that Flacco taught me in Suspect was that if it says domestic violence, then that's somebody that you were in a relationship with.
You didn't know that?
No.
Throughout his career, Gervonta Davis has faced numerous challenges that have tested both his reputation and his resilience as a top-tier athlete. In many past instances, financial security, top legal representation, and sheer talent allowed him to recover from issues with minimal impact on his trajectory. But this time feels different. The incidents are happening more frequently and forming a visible pattern that authorities are unlikely to ignore. Legal systems tend to take past behavior into account, which could lead to a stricter and less forgiving approach moving forward. Even among his loyal supporters, there's a growing sense of concern that the future might not offer the same room for redemption.
Couldn't come at a worse time for Tank. Of course, he's chasing that rematch with Lamont Roach, and that big money Netflix fight with Paul. And this case could potentially cancel both of these fights. For the Roach rematch, it's just kind of being assumed that this fight is happening in mid-August. Everyone has seemed to acknowledge that it's happening, yet there's been no official announcements. Why has there been no official announcements? Well, maybe they were/are waiting to see what happens with the case. They have known that this was gonna probably come out for the last month, so maybe they were either bracing for impact or hoping it could be all sorted out. But we're now about a month out from the proposed rematch, and time is running out. Every day that goes by, it looks less and less likely, and the news today certainly won't instill any hope. Even if the rematch does happen, the conditions are about as bad as they can get for Tank. In what might be the highest pressure fight of his career, he won't have a complete camp and would have legal proceedings hanging over his head. Combine this with the fact that he seemed a bit rattled and emotional after the draw. It's either a combination for a great performance or a combination for an absolute train crash.
Situations like these often act as critical turning points in an athlete's life, serving as mirrors that force deep reflection. Many believe Davis is now standing at such a crossroads. Adversity, while painful, can be a gateway to growth and greater wisdom. However, the concern here is that the lessons from his earlier missteps may not have been fully absorbed. Critics and observers have noted a troubling lack of significant change in his behavior despite previous controversies. The continued emergence of similar issues only reinforces those doubts. If Davis doesn't make a purposeful, internal shift in how he views his responsibilities, both personal and professional, this moment could mark more than just a temporary setback. It might signal a deeper unraveling of both his boxing future and his life outside the ring.
And he knew shit could get bad for him. Of course, he prayed for the best, with, hope for the best. And he even had a few more mishaps in between with the baby mom and all that type of shit. But he got past all that. But that shows his maturity level too, because he kept his head together through all that shit. You know what I mean? So here we at the finishing line with the trouble. I just want him to finish smart and, you know what I mean, and do what he gotta do. Get what he gotta get, you know what I mean?
Given that the current charges stem from issues Davis has been accused of multiple times in the past, the legal ramifications are becoming increasingly complex. When someone is brought before the court repeatedly on similar allegations, it strengthens the prosecution's argument for more serious and decisive penalties. Legal experts are already suggesting that the presiding judge may decide on harsher sentencing if the evidence reflects a continued disregard for the law. Davis's history of past incidents may remove the cushion of leniency he once received. In professional sports, legal troubles do more than damage reputations. They can jeopardize endorsement deals, promotional partnerships, and fight opportunities, leaving a long-lasting imprint on an athlete's legacy.
Boxing champion Gervonta "Tank" Davis has been arrested and charged with battery in South Florida. Police allege the Baltimore native assaulted his ex-girlfriend during an argument on Father's Day in Derail, Florida. Davis was arrested and booked by Miami Beach police, and a judge set his bond at $10,000. This is the latest in a long line of run-ins with law enforcement for the World Boxing Association lightweight champ. In 2023, Davis pleaded guilty to 4 traffic offenses in connection with a hit-and-run that injured 4 people in Baltimore. He spent more than 6 weeks in jail after a judge found out he was serving out his home detention at the Four Seasons Hotel Baltimore and a penthouse condo in Locust Point. Davis has also previously faced allegations of domestic violence, though none of those cases against him have resulted in convictions. We have more on this story on the Baltimore Banner.
Many within the boxing world believe that the intense expectations tied to elite-level competition are starting to take a significant toll on Davis's emotional and mental well-being. The constant demands of physical training, the pressure of being in the public eye, and the need to remain mentally sharp all the time leave little room for personal balance or introspection. For a young athlete navigating fame and its accompanying stressors, the relentless spotlight may be blurring his ability to make sound decisions. There's growing hope among those close to the sport that stepping away temporarily or receiving the proper emotional support might help Davis re-establish a healthier foundation from which to rebuild both his personal stability and professional standing.
Gervonta Davis just got arrested for domestic violence, but this isn't the first time either. Could this have anything to do with what boxing does to your brain? Let's talk about it. So Gervonta Davis has been caught up in legal trouble and domestic violence allegations multiple times over the past few years. See, boxers take repeated hits to the head, not just during their big fights, but while they're sparring throughout training camp as well. Over time, that can cause CTE, a brain disease that messes with memory, emotions, and can cause aggression. CTE can show up in the form of slurred speech or even mood changes. So honest question for y'all is, do you think Gervonta Davis' violence outside of the ring could be linked to CTE? Is this a hidden cause of boxing? I want to hear your thoughts.
Public opinion is rarely shaped by isolated events, it's molded by patterns, and Gervonta Davis's situation is no exception. Fans and insiders alike are growing increasingly frustrated with the repeated nature of his off-ring controversies. Their disappointment isn't limited to the behavior itself, it's also directed at his choices to remain in personal relationships and environments that seem to consistently generate conflict and legal trouble. From a career management standpoint, these are high-risk associations that must be critically assessed. When a specific relationship leads to recurring negative headlines and disrupts fight schedules or sponsorship agreements, it becomes a liability. Many fans, though still supportive, are calling for better decision-making to protect Davis's long-term future.
Davis is back on the news, and y'all know I'm a Tank fan, but at this point, dude, I can't even support this guy no more. Gervonta Davis arrested at 3:35 a.m. in the morning in Miami for battery and domestic violence charges. I've seen stuff like this from Tank in the past, and everybody try to look past it, but dude, what are we doing? You got everything in the world, all the money, mega fights, you got all the money, you never have to worry about anything ever in the rest of your life. Why are we doing this? Like, I understand he's from a tough background and everything, but at some point you gotta grow up. You're arguably the biggest name in boxing with all these people looking up to you, especially kids looking up to you, talking about, I want to be like Gervonta Davis, and this is what they see. I don't know what went down, but I see the news article and I just can't support Tank no more. My favorite damn fighter, one of them besides Terrence Crawford. But I don't know what y'all think about the whole situation. I'm just like, man, what are we doing? I guess we're not gonna get the Lamont Roach fight now. I don't know. I know he was on probation before, and it was gonna be another great fight. And it's just crazy, man. But what do y'all think about this? And you guys think he actually did it? And are you guys still gonna support Tank after this?
Gervonta Davis has expressed on several occasions that he wants to be remembered as more than just a dominant figure in the boxing world. His interviews have hinted at deeper desires to grow emotionally, to mature, and to play a consistent role in his child's life. At one point, he even flirted with the idea of early retirement, indicating that he might value peace over legacy. Although those ideas haven't resurfaced in recent months, the weight of his current situation might force a re-evaluation. Whether he returns to the ring or chooses another path, the choices he makes in the immediate future could define his reputation not just as a world-class fighter, but as a man trying to find stability and meaning outside the sport.
What's good, YouTube? Crown Jewel from Crown Jewel Boxing. Back with a gem. Checked out the press conference yesterday. Watched the Rise podcast. 2 days ago, watched the Rise podcast response to it yesterday. And I just have to say, I see a lot of people think that, Tank is bluffing with the retirement talk. Could be. I doubt it, though. And I'm going to tell you why I doubt it. When he talked about wanting to seek therapy and the person he has to be in order to be the fighter that he is, and wanting to be a softer person, for his daughters, wanting to seek therapy, to become a better person, to be with his children and lead the limelight. It seemed like a lot of emotion and passion in that. He seemed like he really meant what he was saying. There's a lot that comes with not only boxing, because, all fighters deal with certain things with being a boxer, physically, mentally. But he has to deal with being a celebrity, an international star on top of that. And I can't even imagine that pressure. So, things get old, your whole life gets scrutinized, no matter what moves he makes, it's going to be accepted by some and, ridiculed by others. And some people grow tired of it. Living a public life ain't for everybody. He's been tremendously successful, whatever he decides to do. I wish him well. I think we need to, watch this Lamont Roach fight closely, because we've seen this in the past when Mike Tyson talked about his heart no longer being in it. Or, you heard Buddy McGirt recently come out and say, the fire left him, while he was in camp in the middle of a run. I mean, it happens. And, we don't know how it's going to affect him as a fighter. I would hope, he could find it in himself to be motivated and get prepared, and be the best version of himself. Because, as a Tank fan, I don't want to see him in the ring in any other capacity. If he can't bring himself to be the best version of himself, then I think he should walk away. But regardless of what he decides to do, for people like myself,
Boxing analysts and media figures are now openly questioning whether Davis's long-standing relationship with the mother of his child is doing more harm than good for either of them. Over the last 4 years, their connection has led to multiple public disputes and legal incidents, each one chipping away at the stability required for Davis to function at his best. When a relationship consistently disrupts both personal well-being and professional progress, it becomes a topic of concern not just for family members, but for managers, trainers, and promoters as well. The consensus from many in the sport is clear: when patterns repeat and no resolution is found, a healthy separation might be the only path toward peace and growth for both individuals involved.
Boxing sensation Gervonta Davis has been arrested on domestic violence charges. And this is not the first time that he has been here. I'm not sure if it's with the same young lady. Her name is Vanessa, who he shares a daughter with, and I believe she was carrying another child with him. This situation is just sad because, when you're a boxer, your hands are legal. So you're not supposed to be getting into brawl fights with anybody unless you're in the ring, because his hands are considered legally a weapon. And if you ever seen him fight, you know that this boy hits hard. So him hitting a female, it's like, whoa. But yet again, we don't know people's situations. Even though it's never okay to hit a female, we just don't know what happened between these two folks. I think that after this, he should just leave that girl alone, because if this is with her again, this is the second time that he gets arrested for domestic dispute with the same girl. And I just don't think they should be together. Somebody that's with you is supposed to bring the best out of you, not the worst. If you're constantly in a situation where you're arguing, fighting, putting your hands, you feel like a monster with somebody, then maybe that person, you shouldn't be with them. But prayers for Gervonta, because even though he is in the wrong, we don't know what wars, what demons people are fighting in the inside, and you could clearly see that he was very upset. If there's more information on the story, I will be relating, but this just sucks for Gervonta, honestly. It's like, he has it all: the money, the fame, biggest boxer in the game right now, but he's always in legal problems, and especially for domestic issues. This is just...
With another court hearing on the horizon, the boxing world watches anxiously. The recurrence of similar charges casts a long shadow over Davis's credibility as a professional athlete. In a sport where public perception directly influences opportunities, each new incident chips away at his brand and marketability. The more often these events happen, the more they start to shape how people view him, not just as a boxer, but as a public figure. It becomes increasingly difficult to separate his athletic brilliance from his offering choices. Whatever verdict the court hands down may not only determine his immediate fate, but could permanently alter the trajectory of his boxing career and the legacy he leaves behind.
All right, I don't know any of the details. This is the information that is available to us as of this recording. So again, I'm saying unfortunate news because Tank Davis is scheduled to fight, and he's scheduled to fight in 11 days, and it's almost midnight my time, Pacific Standard Time. So that means really 10 days. Does this affect in any way? Will this affect Tank Davis and his fight? I don't know. I don't know all the details, but we've seen stuff like this happen before in the past. And since it's so fresh, today being December 27th, I don't think it will impact or, postpone his fight or anything like that, because it'll be too quick to go to trial or anything like that. However, some would wonder, could this affect him mentally, right? You left Mayweather Promotions, you're your own boss, doing your own thing, so this is your first foray into that. You have a difficult Olympian in terms of Hector Luis Garcia that you're getting ready to fight, a little bit taller and bigger than you, and now you have something in the background. This, I can't say it's news to Gervonta Davis in terms of him having little run-ins, because he had a run-in with some type of vehicular hit and run.
In the days just before the latest controversy became public, Davis took to social media with cryptic messages that seemed to suggest he anticipated something significant coming. His posts were reflective, possibly even an attempt to set the tone before things escalated. While some fans interpreted these as honest expressions of his emotional state, others saw them as a calculated effort to shape the narrative before public judgment began. Social media has become a powerful tool for athletes looking to explain or defend themselves, but it can't substitute for genuine accountability. No amount of posting or online engagement can correct deep-rooted issues. They require real change, not just curated captions and clever hashtags.
Gervonta Davis is getting locked up again, my people. He posted about a lawyer and said, still haven't helped me with my case. Shaking my head, then posted, treated me like I done bodied somebody. I can't do nothing. The last time I went to court, the city tried to fine me for $25K. Damn, $25K? What you do, my boy? And if they treat you like you bodied somebody, then you definitely getting locked up, my boy. This must be what Lamont Roach was trying to tell us when he said Gervonta Davis will cancel the fight, my people. He said, laugh out loud. Buddy, no, damn well, I don't mess around like that. He gassing y'all up to justify why he ain't do his part of the deal yet. He really might pull out of this fight. Stay tuned. Is this what he meant about Gervonta Davis pulling out the fight? Because he might be getting locked up, my people. He got this court problems that he has to resolve, so he hasn't even done his part yet. He's doing all the talking on Instagram. He's doing all the talking on Twitter. This is what Lamont Roach saying. He's doing all the talking everywhere else, but it's just to justify the reason that he might not even show up to the fight. He might have to pull out and cancel that fight, my people. We all know Gervonta Davis has had several legal issues, you feel me? Allegedly, my people. Hopefully, this ain't one, because in boxing, I don't know if we really care about that. We just want to see the fight happen, you feel me? We don't care about all the shenanigans. So all I'm saying is that hopefully he ain't getting locked up, because we want to see that rematch. And we don't want nobody getting locked up, you know what I'm saying? We want you in the ring. We want you to get that get back. And if he don't get that get back, it's like his excuse. He trying to go to jail on purpose. Don't be posting about the court online, my boy. Do what you gotta do, resolve that, and get back to the gym and do this rematch with Lamont Roach. But this would be an upset for everybody if it ends up being canceled because he has to go to court, or he has to go back to getting locked up, or he gotta pay some type of fines, because there's always something, my people. And Lamont Roach kind of hint at that, you feel me? He let us know. Yo, my man talking, but he ain't do his part of the deal yet. And it's been a couple months, and everybody's saying the fight is for sure. But how Lamont Roach saying that your boy ain't do the other part of the deal yet? How does that even...
That wraps up today's deep dive into Gervonta Davis's escalating situation. With the legal stakes rising and public perception shifting, the months ahead will be crucial, not just for his career, but for his personal journey as well. Stay tuned for updates as this story unfolds. Until next time.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more exciting videos, make sure to hit the bell icon and stay updated. Subscribe to Boxing Hub now for all the latest in boxing.